What's up, guys? It's three-time NFL Pro Bowler, all-decade return specialist, Josh Cribbs. I want to welcome you to the College Sports Connection podcast, where Double A, Alex, and AJ host the Mid-American Conference Best.
All right, everybody, Alex the Captain here, coming to you from week 2 of Mac Media Day. This week we introduced Chuck Martin from Miami University and Jason Candle from the University of Toledo. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back to the College Sports Connection podcast. I'm your host, Alex the Captain. Joining me is AJ the Guru.
What's going on, everybody?
AJ, we are...
What makes AJ a guru, first of all?
AJ, you like that?
That's great, but
He came up with it. I don't know where it came from.
What is the qualifications for a guru? I always want to meet a guru.
Well, he's the guru. He knows more people in sports than I could even dream to.
There we go.
That's where he's the guru. I'm just the captain because that's what my camp kids called me. It was the captain, so we just rolled with it.
You got the smooth voice, right?
Right.
Yeah, he came up with a nickname. I just rolled with it. So
I wish someone would come up with a cool nickname for me. So maybe you can do that.
we can do that. We've got the power.
Chuck the Commander Martin.
That's kind of lame. All right, keep going.
Okay,
We'll
all
think
right,
about it. We'll work on it.
But hey,
It's not as cool as a guru. I would like to be known as a guru or something.
Right,
We'll workshop it.
Yeah.
But we are here joined by the head coach of the Miami Redhawks, Coach Chuck Martin. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe we're back here already. Football season's getting ready to go. What do you say? 5 weeks till opening week?
Yeah. We got a lot of work to do.
How work to do? Well, let's get into that work.
So last year, obviously, you guys finished the season with a bowl victory, 27-13 in the Frisco Classic. Great win over North Texas. But last year, a lot of people were kind of talking about the season of what if. 4 games by a one-score loss. Kind of talk about that and just kind of where you guys are going, what direction you guys are taking to improve upon that to get back to Detroit.
Yeah, no, it was a great years in so many ways, and like you said, ended with a great bowl victory. Frustrating so many ways because you lose 3 conference games by 3 points, and you lose your last conference game in double overtime by a point, and have many opportunities to win it, and no excuses. We didn't get it done. But you lose 48-47 double overtime, and you're one inch away from being where you want to be. And you had first and goal at the 1 yard line with 45 seconds left, and you couldn't punch it in. That sticks with you in the offseason, trust me. So, but again, every year is different from different situations. But we got a bunch of new guys. We lose a bunch of guys on defense. We got a bunch of guys back on offense. So we got great kids in our program. They're tremendously talented football players. They've done everything we've asked them, but they're just great kids. They're great human beings. They're great young men. They're a blast to be around. So we'll have a chance every year. I always say you have enough talent and you mix it in with some character, you're going to have a chance to compete. And that's where we kind of put this program year in, year out. We're going to have a chance to fight for MAC championships. And last year we didn't quite get it done, but we're not going to overthink it too much. We're just going to say, hey, we're right knocking on the door, and we got to make one more play this year. So we got another opportunity, and you guys know this league. It's every week you got to come to play, and we had some great MAC wins, and we had some disappointing MAC losses last year. That's the MAC. You got to come every play and bring your A game. If not, anybody can beat anyone. We live it every year. So, but we're real excited heading into this season, and we feel like we got a great group of kids coming back.
Last week I was golfing. You were talking about offense. I was golfing, and I was partnered with Mac Pippenhammer's dad.
Okay.
So he's the second year out of transferring to Penn State. I told his dad, I asked about him. How's Mac this year? What are you looking to see out of him coming back for his second year at wide receiver?
Had a great first year with second team all league. Obviously, Jack Sorensen, who's with the Bengals right now, was our leading receiver and had a tremendous senior year. But Hip Hip had a great year last year, and I think year two you're going to see even bigger and better things out of Hip this year. And then Jalen Walker's our other receiver that's got a ton of experience that we've relied on for the last 3-4 years. So with Sorensen leaving, Hip and Jay Walker going to totally take this thing over, although they're already a big part of our offense. They're going to totally take this thing over on the outside this year.
Talk about Brett Gabbert. Obviously he's on the Maxwell Award watch list. He's on the Davey O'Brien Award watch list. His leadership for those younger guys trying to find their own, that's got to be super critical going into this season.
Yeah, his leadership and his preparation, like he prepares as diligently as any football player I've ever run. He is always in the building. He is and I always say when your best player is out working everybody, when your best player is out preparing everyone, like everyone else who just falls in line. And his football, he can throw the daylights out of it. He's super smart. He's got super quick release, like all the things that you want in a quarterback. The thing that people don't like, he is tough. Is like when your quarterback's tough, it's going to filter through your team, and he will do anything to find a way to beat you. And he plays. We try to get him to slide in, he won't do that. Like he's, even the bowl game. We had a 13-point lead late. We just got a good goal line stand. We were backed up. We had a 3rd and 8. They've got 2 really good pass rushers. One of them gets free and hits our quarterback from the blind side. And he shrugs it off, runs 7.5 yards, runs into 2 linebackers, and just keeps driving. Then finally, our old lineman drills him from behind and pushes that. And it's just who he is. Like he just, we didn't even need the first down necessarily. We were up 2 scores, but he's going to fight for every inch for his teammates every time. So, again, crazy talented, but like you said, the leadership and the preparation are what sets him apart.
And you're lucky this year, too, in the sense that you don't have much of a quarterback battle. A lot of teams in the conference do this year. You're very set with your quarterback. That has to be a sigh of relief because you know what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, no, we're fortunate to have him. It's hard to find a great trigger guy, and we have a great trigger guy. And he's still getting better because he still works his tail. Like, he made a huge jump last year. Everybody thought he was so good as a freshman, first ever true freshman starter in the history of our school.
Yeah.
And then he leads us to a MAC championship. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you don't even have any idea. He's not even scratching the surface yet. And then he comes back last year. It's like, man, he's so. I'm like, yeah. And he'll continue, not as big of leaps, but he's going to continue taking those leaps. So yes, it's nice to have your trigger guy back because I know a lot of guys lost theirs.
Yeah, they did. It seems like he's been there forever. It seems like he's been in Oxford for as long as I can remember, which is great.
You talk about him last year. Over 2,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Like, you can't ask much more out of a guy, especially who's playing at such a high level within the program. You have a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Bill's insanely smart. He's been, he's not been in name our defense coordinator, but anybody who's been around our program. He knows as much about his defense.
Been around a while.
He knows as much about his defense as anyone. Played for me way back in the day at Grand Valley State. He's probably as smarter players I've ever been around. He's coached with me every year but one since we've been together every year since like 2002, I think, or 2003. Except for 1 year we've been apart. Went to Notre Dame with me, came to Miami with me. So really, really talented, really, really smart. We'll have the kids very well prepared. We'll have our kids practicing the right way. So it'll be a very smooth transition. And I spend right now all my time on the defense side of the ball, so it's good to have him who understands me and has put up with me or dealt with me, however you want to say it, for a long time, and really knows how to offset who I am and what my strengths and weaknesses are.
You mentioned Grand Valley State. What a great conference that is, too. It's been fantastic.
No doubt. So I still watch it, not watch it, but follow it on a weekly basis. So I was actually back there for Alumni Golf Outing Friday. It was pretty cool. So
obviously, with the new coordinator, with the new changes on defense, how's the defense going to handle the loss of guys like Sterling Weatherford, who was just phenomenal in his career with Miami?
Yeah, four starters are in NFL camps right now.
Yeah.
There's Ben Kimpler, who started for me for 5 years, who's not in NFL camp, but he's been a great player. Then you got 3 other guys that transferred that are NFL players. That's why they transferred. They'll be in the NFL. So you're talking, we lost probably 7, 8 NFL players off that defense. So again, it's a transition year. The good news is we do have a good nucleus come back. Ryan McWood missed all last year, my 7th-year senior backer. Missed the whole season. Is back healthy. So him and Salopek from Holman, My two inside backs are back. My nickel's back in Quez Warren. My boundary corner's back, John Saunders, and all my defensive tackles are back. So we have safeties end and got to find a field corner. So we have a good nucleus back. We have a lot of good young players. I said I got a bad spades hand. I don't know if you guys play spades, but
I have a few times. Yeah.
so I said, well, who's going to start defense? I got like 2, possibly 9. Like I don't know who, but I'm excited because I really think they can play. But I got 4 field corners that all can start. Literally, well, you just coach speak. No, I literally, you name 4 guys that field corner, they all can be, and I think they're all good enough to start. But I don't think any of them have proven that they're the guy yet. So they're younger, inexperienced. So we'll probably play a lot of guys. We said we'll probably rely a little bit. We've been pretty defense heavy. We've been different than the rest of the teams in the league that score all these points and don't stop anyone. But we're going to rely. We got 9 stars back on offense with Brett, and we'll probably rely on the offense a little more on the year. I think, by conference time, we got to be playing good defense. If not, we won't get where we want to go. But we got some things to sort out in those non-league games. And when you play Kentucky's and Northwestern, Cincinnati, if you're good, we know you're good. You know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes you get exposed a little bit, which is okay too. So that's the beauty of playing that schedule that we play. We kind of really know what we got going in the league because if the guy's good in our non-league schedule, he's a good player, Sure. And if he's not a tough, confident dude, it usually gets exposed when you go down and play Kentucky. It's going to be a different deal. So, but we got a lot of options on the back end, and we're excited about those young guys.
Talk about, obviously, you just mentioned the non-conference schedule of Kentucky, Northwestern, Cincinnati, the Big Spring Belt rivalry. Talk about how important those experiences are for those players, and just to get to play in those big atmospheres against those big time opponents. That's critical.
Yeah, it's fun. I wish we wouldn't quite go as overboard as we do.
You and Kent State this year.
I think it's us every year. In 2019, we won it. We were at Brett Gabbert's first 4 games as a true freshman at Iowa Saturday night, at Cincinnati, at Ohio State.
I remember the Ohio State game.
Welcome to college football, young man. And again, we didn't play. We got knocked out of the Ohio State game. We lost 76-5. Kids been there. I'm like, is this fair to this kid? We're doing to it, But he obviously was fine for it. So, but no, getting back to your question, it is exciting. Going down playing SEC team. And they won 10 games or 9 games. They're a good SEC team, And having that opportunity, these kids love it, and our fans love it, Going up to Northwestern, we have such a alumni base in Chicago, and going to play another Big Ten team. We've played since I've been here: Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Minnesota twice, Iowa twice. Now we get to play Northwestern. So, getting those opportunities, and obviously it's Cincinnati in the rivalry game, and them coming off being top 3 in the country, that adds even more excitement. And we're playing at Paul Brown, where the Bengals play, which is super cool, and it's even more cool for my kids because the Bengals just went to the Super Bowl. It used to be like, oh, this is where the Bengals play. They're not very good, Now it's like, hey, we get to play where almost the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Where Joe Burrow plays, and Jamar Chase. So that again for kids, it's they're going to go in Bengals Stadium like this is where Joe Burrow plays. It's pretty cool. So those games are super fun. Like you guys almost got Notre Dame last year at Notre Dame. It's pretty cool and pretty amazing. If you can pull off one of those wins, it's you'll remember it for a lifetime.
Sure. I don't remember telling you as a Toledo guy. How'd you know that?
I don't know. The Toledo sticker.
That's definitely his. I don't know what you're talking
Toledo
about.
sticker. Are you a Toledo guy?
I am the Toledo guy. Yeah, he's the Ball State guy.
All right. You're a Ball State guy. Well, where's the Toledo sticker?
Well, that's my computer.
I know. I'm not super smart, but you act like I'm so stupid. You got a Toledo sticker on your computer,
Hey,
and then you think I'm so. I don't know what you heard about me, but you think I'm so dumb that I can't figure it out. So you're the Ball State guy.
I am. Yes.
That's what makes you the guru.
Yeah. There it is.
We've had some great tilts with Ball State.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Last year we were just talking to Coach New about that one possession game last year.
Year before
that too.
One possession.
Yeah. It's always a fun game. Yeah. You mentioned Northwestern there. You get to go play at a stadium with grass.
Yeah.
That's rare anymore.
I know.
Now you were at Notre Dame, right? They had grass there at that point.
Yeah, but now they don't.
The turf,
But I think we're going to all go back to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we're trending back because all the NFL players hate the turf, and it goes back this way, and so.
And Ryan Fields is known for keeping their grass a little long too.
Yeah.
So that'd be a fun experience. So Ryan Fields is a great place. It's a good game.
I'm excited.
Fantastic atmosphere.
I'm excited to get back home out of Chicago, guys.
Oh, fair enough. Sure.
I'll get some Portillo somehow.
There you go.
Somehow on that Friday, Saturday, I'll have Portillos.
Sure.
I did want to ask you, since we were talking about Toledo, Miami and Toledo haven't played in a decade.
I've never coached against them.
Right.
Why? I should say that I coached against them in 1999 in the Glass Bowl. Chester Taylor fumbled going over the top, and we won. Eastern Michigan won in the glass ball. I was the outside backers coach of Eastern Michigan. And Chester Taylor and the kid from Springfield South High School, the quarterback, that great quarterback they had. I forget who it was.
Not Gradkowski.
No.
Would have been before Gradkowski.
Yes. But Chester Taylor played for the Vikings. Was great.
Yeah.
He was going to score the winning touchdown, but they fumbled and we fell on it. So it was a good,
Yeah.
good day for the Eagles.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I mean, what's up with that?
I
Why,
have no
why is
idea.
that not like?
No
that's
one's
the
ever
longest
asked me.
drought in
I
the
have no
conference.
idea. I think we're playing next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that I heard that today. But I've heard that before too. So
Right. I was
then
gonna
something
say,
happens. And
we were supposed to
something,
play
and
you
then-
guys this year.
Yeah.
And then the year before. And,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I
it's
don't know.
crazy.
It is bizarre.
Longest drought in I think FBS with interconference
Yeah,
opponents.
well, it's got to be. It's got to be some kind of record.
It's insane. So yeah, obviously opening the season at Kentucky.
You're going, right?
I'm going. I'm planning on being there.
Okay,
Throw on a Miami T-shirt.
There you
lose my mind cheering for the Red Hawks.
there you
I'm
go.
excited.
We appreciate that.
It's a good opportunity. I'm doing a whole road trip that week, going down to Tennessee versus Ball State Thursday
Okay.
night. Drive back up through Kentucky, watch Miami, go back to Toledo, fall asleep.
Gotcha. Awesome. I'm envious. I'd like to. Because I would say, like, when I retire, I'm going to do like the whole game day, but without the work.
Yeah, sure.
Like just go to the best game every week and
Why
tailgate,
not?
and I'm going to buy a jersey of the home team. I don't care who the home team is. I don't care what coaches I know. I'm rooting for the home team. I'm not getting any fights in the parking lot. No matter. So that sounds like a pretty cool first week for you.
I'm excited. It'll be my first Miami game or road game.
Gotcha.
So
You'll be at Tennessee and at Kentucky. Those would be pretty awesome.
It's going to be a long weekend, but I'm super
There you
pumped
go.
for it.
Now, do you miss being obviously here on the sidelines, but do you miss the tailgating and stuff like that? You miss
Yeah,
that
I'm
experience?
always jealous. Like, everybody has fun. We're working.
Yeah.
Not that we're not having fun, but like that whole idea of, I would go to high school football every Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
I love high school football.
Yeah.
I can't. I would. It doesn't matter where.
Especially in Ohio.
Yeah. I would go high school game. I'd go to college game on Saturday. And again, you could hit some doubleheaders. You could get a noon game and
I was looking
easily
at
get to
trying
a night game, without even struggling.
If you guys were
And
playing
I don't drink, so I can actually be the driver. Like
even
I'll
better.
have all sorts of people that want to go with me. I always have more friends than I should because I'm the designated driver. And then try to catch an NFL game on Sunday, like that's.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's
if
the way to
you
do it.
guys had been playing at noon on that Saturday, I was going to try to book it to Ohio.
Gotcha.
I was going to try to.
Who do they got?
I think it's at Florida Atlantic.
Ooh, they got a good opener.
Yeah, so I was going to try to hit all three and get
Good
to Eden
scheduling.
Stadium.
Good scheduling by the fucking Bobcats.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's a lot of teams this year in the conference that have fantastic openers. I mean, everybody seems
Way to rub it in.
But you know what? It's a
Hey,
great
that's a
way.
great
It's a great
venue.
challenge.
Kroger Field's a great venue against a great SEC opponent.
Yeah. It's an NFL quarterback.
Yeah,
Hey, it's
absolutely.
all right.
Everybody's talking about.
Hey, you got a quarterback who can probably make it to the next level too.
No, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the pedigree to do it too. I mean, it's a quick phone call for him to figure out how to get there. So, but coach, this is awesome. You're our first Miami representative on the show.
Hopefully not the last.
Not the
No,
last.
we
yes.
definitely want to have you on in the future, of course. But we have something for you,
Awesome.
a token of our appreciation.
Look at that.
We've been giving out
That is the
hats to
coolest.
the coaches,
There
so
we go.
thank you for taking the time with
And
us.
it's old school. This reminds me like when
Oh,
I was
yeah.
in Little League Baseball. Man,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I would see one of these and that's cool.
So thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much for joining us. We
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
it. And
Appreciate it.
go Red Hawks.
Thank you.
All right, guys, welcome back to the College Sports Connection podcast here at Media Day for the Mid-American Conference 2022. I'm your host, Alex the Captain. Joining me as always, it's AJ the Guru.
What's going on, everybody?
Guys, we are here with the last interview of the day. Personal favorite because being a Toledo guy. Jason Candle, head coach of the Toledo Rockets. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Alex, AJ, great to be with you boys.
It's hard to believe we're back at it again. It doesn't seem too long ago we were in Detroit doing this, getting ready for the season, and now we're 5 weeks out and getting ready to go.
Hey, right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Can't wait.
So let's just dive into it. A lot of success with players going to the NFL this last year. Moving forward, this team was so incredibly talented. Fell a little short of the mark, but let's talk about those players who have now gone to the next level. How big is that for the program?
Well, I mean, I think there's 14 or maybe 16 now that will open up on an NFL camp here starting today or tomorrow, depending on when teams start. But very proud of those guys. Super impressed at their work ethic, their commitment, and their longevity, their staying power has allowed them to, not only be in those camps but have the opportunity to make those teams. And talk about Sam Womack and Tyson Anderson, the most recent guys drafted. That's 8 guys drafted for us in the last 6 years. Before I became the head coach, we hadn't had a guy drafted here in 10 years. So it's something we're very proud of, and something one of the goals of our program when we first got here and we transitioned to this role being the head coach. We're going to win a championship. We're going to put guys in the NFL at a consistent rate, and we're going to get guys to make sure they graduated and move on and left Toledo a better place than they found it. I think those things were, what's neat about that is we've accomplished all those things, but those things continue to remain the same challenge, and that's what's the beauty of college football. So very happy for them guys. Very excited for, I think it's a transitional year for a couple guys. I think Cody Thompson maybe breaks through this year and makes the 53-man roster. I think, Kadar Hallman, he makes a roster and makes the 53-man team. I think there's a couple guys that have been in the NFL for a couple years that maybe put the stamp and have a great year. And you got those headliners and Kareem Hunt, Deontay Johnson, that,
who are very much staples in their organization.
They're expecting the next step too. They're expecting to be in the Pro Bowl and that kind of stuff. So it's fun to follow those guys, and certainly a nice card to have in your pocket recruiting.
Speaking of following those guys, Toledo Athletics held their garage sale this year. I picked up a couple jerseys.
Yep.
Picked up a Reggie Gillen jersey.
Nice.
Sent it out to him in Buffalo, and he signed it for me.
Sure.
Salt of the earth. I mean, what an incredible
ever.
human being. But that's how you get a fan for life.
Well, that kind of story comes as a walk-on running back. Grades aren't very good in high school. Leads here as a tight end who leads the country in block kicks. He's arguably the best blocking tight end in the country that year. He's a 3-3 student in the league. You talk about the transformation of a human being in all aspects. Very proud of that guy. Very excited about what the future lies ahead. What it looks like for him moving forward. He's on a great team. That team could end up in the Super Bowl.
Buffalo loves him too. I've got friends who live in Buffalo, and they talk about, he's out doing exactly what the coaches need him to do every single time.
You never have to worry about that guy.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's across his T's and dots I's every day of his life.
So, going back to last season, obviously not the season, as a fan, not a season that we wanted. 7-6 despite the talent. Big factor in those losses from just the casual observer was the penalties. 130 penalties for the team, led the country. Not the stat you want to lead the country, and no team wants to do that. As a head coach, what do you do to help limit penalties this coming season?
Yeah, first of all, you got to own it. We made those plays. We did that. We have to look ourselves in the mirror and fix that. I think there's two tails there. There's operational things on offense, and maybe playing 2 quarterbacks early in the beginning of the year had some contributed to that a little bit. That being solidified, and hopefully getting 5 healthy offensive linemen in there that stay in there the entire year will be a luxury. Sometimes you can't control that, but that would be great to have that for a 1 year at least. And then if you look on the defensive side of the ball, we had 35 penalties last year that the other team got a first down. 18 of those were in the fourth quarter. You lose close games, and 22-20 Northern Illinois, 3-point loss to Central, 3-point loss to Eastern. Those are everything matters. And when does it matter? Today matters. December 5th. You know what I mean? When you want to be playing in the conference championship, so you got to consistently. Number one, you got to own it. 2, you got to have a plan to fix it. I think there's some things we've done offensively that will eliminate and take that stuff off the tape. The discipline of how we do things defensively. There's going to be. I've said this since the day I became the head coach. There's a difference between not being late to work because you're caught in traffic rather than hitting your snooze button one more time. You're still the same result, but so the penalties, as you refer to penalties, are some that are effort plays that you don't want to take off the tape. Maybe you could go either way and you can make an argument, but there's some things that they're absolutely not negotiable. You can't have pre-snap penalties. You can't jump off sides. You can't start the Notre Dame game the way we did. We had 4 penalties in the first minute and a half of the Notre Dame game. 3 of them are moment maybe got a little bit bigger than us at that point in time, and once we settled in, we played great football, and then they showed up in the last minute of the game. So there's a lot of contributing factors, but you got, like I said, you got to own it. You got to put a plan in place to fix it, and you got to do it.
So this year, you're talking about the big moments, right? This year, Toledo plays Ohio State. Last time Toledo was in Columbus, in my opinion, we were screwed. I know you can't say it as a head coach. I know that you're not allowed to, but I'm not an ESPN and I'm not a football coach. But I think Toledo really should have won that game, 27-22 loss. How important is this game for those players? Do they look back on that? These guys were middle schoolers.
Yeah, they would. I was there. I was in the stadium. I watched Eric Page get open, and he didn't quite get the ball to him at that time. probably still could have won the game despite all those penalties you're talking about. But you're not top 5 place in top 5 program by accident. You got to go in and you got to slay the giant. You can't. There's no dancing around and trying to throw a stone. Like, you got to hit him in the eyes. You got to hit him every time. You can't miss. There's a lot of things that has to go into that to get it done. We did a lot of things right last year in South Bend, but we didn't win the game. You know what I mean? You got to do everything right to beat those caliber of teams. It's a tremendous opportunity for our players. Abundance of talent and players from the state of Ohio that this is going to mean the world to them to go play in that stadium. A lot of guys on the team probably think they should have been recruited by those guys. So, big moment for our program. And, when you come to Toledo, you expect to play in games like this, and not only expect to play in them, you expect to go play well. We expect to go play well.
And you get to play that in prime time too.
Yeah,
which is it's going to look great under the lights. We'll be down there for it, and so that we're really excited about that one.
The new uniforms. Those are going to look impressive under those lights.
Those are really special. They came out really nice. And, I think you look at the Ohio State deal, 7 o'clock kickoff, and then you got 2 national televised action games on Tuesday nights. And what I would say is Ohio State is what it is. It's going to get its attention. It's going to have a national spotlight. My thing is, we have a home game on Tuesday night here in Toledo. Let's use that as a national commercial with Toledo. Not only Toledo athletics, but Toledo football, but University of Toledo and the city of Toledo. What we got going on, there's so many great things going on in our city. Man, oh man, that's a big stage for us.
Downtown's made a huge transformation.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's beautiful.
I mean, in athletically wise, the Mudhens are having a great season. The Walleye had a fantastic season, and things are popping in Toledo. And we talked to Coach Mr. Blair about it earlier. The Glass Bowl on a Wednesday night in action is just the best. There's not an empty seat.
Right.
And it's the place to be.
Well, I think we go as that place goes.
Yeah.
We go as the environment that goes, and it's our responsibility to put a great product out and continue to, put something somebody wants to go see, pay attention to. You know what I mean? But I think it goes hand in hand too. We got to continue to lock arms with our fan base and our city, and really try to take this thing to the next level.
Yeah. So obviously, we did lose guys like Brian go back to the NFL. How do you replace him? Who's stepping up? I know Keith Stewart is one of the guys that people are kind of talking about. Who else is kind of stepping into that role? Is there a front runner to take the lead back role, or is it going to be more by committee?
You don't replace him. You never replace a guy that's one of the all-time greats. He's a 3.8 student, high character of an individual as anybody you ever come across. That guy's not coming back, unfortunately. Much like Kareem Hunt wasn't coming back, Eric Page wasn't coming back, Logan Woodside wasn't coming back. You got to turn the page. You have to understand that there's good guys that have waited their turn patiently to have this moment, and that somebody's going to go see it. And if that's by committee, then so be it. If it's one guy that takes the bull by the horns, we'll find that out in the next 3.5 weeks. It's a very unique time. I think, in preseason camp in years past, we've tried to protect the running back a little bit.
Sure.
They might have to hit these guys in preseason camp. You know what I mean? You got to
see what they can do.
Attack them, put them on the ground, make it live, and go see who can separate themselves a little bit. So, all part of the evaluation process, but I think we're confident that we got somebody that will end up out of there and emerge as the front runner.
Now you open up camp here, next week?
Yes, sir.
Next week. So what are your early expectations, especially getting these younger guys acclimated to, I know they had some spring ball, some of the early guys, but what are your early expectations and kind of focuses the first week or two of practice?
Well, I think we want to paint a picture of where we want to end. And to know where we want to end it at, you have to learn from the past. So I think you guys mentioned the penalties. We got to address a lot of the things that have maybe been our Achilles heel in the last 18 months and address them right away and continue to try to fix them. We're trying to carry over the thought process of what we went through, which what I thought was a great winter workouts and a tremendous spring football season. So get the team back. Now they've been away from the coaches for a few weeks. Get them back in the preseason here and get back to those fundamental principles that we want to get corrected. And a good young freshman player, if he emerges, then that's awesome. And so be it. He takes somebody's job, then it's meant to be. But I want the 11 guys that are going to play on offense, defense, and special teams to get sorted out as fast as we can here, and get them practicing and get them ready to go so we can win that first game.
I wanted to talk about your quarterback, DeCon Finn. Took over as a starter halfway through the year last year, and played incredibly well as a freshman. We watched him, all through the season, just electric. Just what a playmaker. As you know, as a coach, there's always room for a player to improve. What tools has he added to his tool belt this offseason, and what can we, as fans and media, expect to see from him this year?
Well, I think he ended up taking the job in the middle of the season last year.
Yeah.
He did that by work through June, July, and August. And maybe something on the surface that we couldn't see as coaches or see as fans. And when he didn't play well or he didn't play to maybe the expectation he thought he should play, how his teammates responded to him and how they rallied around him. Somebody else on our football team that'll happen to this. Somebody's doing that right now as we're sitting here talking. We don't know who that is yet. So that's the beauty of this game that we play, and that's why football is the ultimate team game, because it takes everybody. But I think the principles of playing great quarterback, being a great quarterback, and having great quarterback play always come down to decision making and how accurate he can be with the football. I mean, obviously this guy's got an elite get out of jail free card in his legs because he's a tremendous athlete, and his ability to run is off the charts. So just finding a balance of what that looks like, making the right play, finding better ways to process the 40 seconds in between plays or the 25 seconds in between plays, whatever it may be, and how to understand how to best attack the defense in an educated way to where it is the right play. A check down to a really good player that goes for 20 yards still goes in the stat sheet as a 20-yard completion. It's not any different than the prettiest dig route you've ever thrown in your life. So continue to do that. And I think the great ones all have that ability. They stay out of quarterback hits that way. They stay out of sacks that way. It makes all of a sudden now an offensive line looks like a great offensive line where maybe before it didn't look like such a great offensive line because of the efficiency the quarterback is playing with. So coach is going to do a great job putting a plan around him that allows him to be successful, but he's got to go out and execute.
Cool. Perfect. You guys open the season against Long Island University September 1st. We're looking at coming out to some games this year. Really excited for Toledo football. Excited for the MAC season in general. It's going to be a great year. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on. Go Rockets.
Go Rockets.
Thanks, Josh.